op-amp circuits, buffers, and amplifiers. Descriptions and analyses of 4 simple op-amp circuits. We introduced op-amps in a previous lesson and discussed ideal versus real op-amps, input and output impedance, open loop gain G and the fundamental op-amp equation, saturation, and open loop versus closed loop circuits. Here we'll examine 4 common closed loop op-amp circuits: buffer, inverter, inverting amplifier, and non-inverting amplifier. For each case, our goal is to derive an expression for output voltage as a function of input voltage. Here's a buffer, also called a voltage follower. Its purpose is to provide high impedance for an input signal. The input voltage is connected to the non-inverting input. The output voltage is fed back into the inverting input, so Vout, Vo, and Vn are all the same. Here's our circuit analysis. Using these equations and our fundamental op-amp equation, we get that Vout is equal to G over G plus 1 times Vin. But G is typically huge, like 1,000,000 or more, so this approaches 1, and thus Vout is approximately Vin. Professor, it seems to me like this circuit don't do a darn thing. Well, Dud, it may seem so at first glance, but without the buffer, Vn could be greatly affected by the circuit downstream of this. With the buffer, however, Vn is totally unaffected by the downstream circuit because of the high impedance supplied by the op-amp. Thanks, Professor. I never would have thought of that. You're welcome, Dud. By the way, this is why we call this a buffer or a voltage follower. The output voltage simply follows the input voltage. The input impedance is that of the op-amp, which is typically megaohms, by the way. Now consider an inverter, also called an inverting buffer. Its purpose is to invert an input voltage and then provide high impedance to the signal. Here, input voltage goes into the inverting input through resistor R1. Output voltage feeds back through resistor 2 into the inverting input. We also sketch current in several places, and note that since negligible current flows through the op-amp between these 2 inputs, current I here must flow also through resistor R2. We also approximate that output voltage is read by an instrument like a voltmeter or oscilloscope or data acquisition system that has very high input impedance as well. So no current flows here. This current I must go into the op-amp. Current can and does flow into the op-amp, which, as we mentioned before, has very low impedance, on the order of a couple ohms. For the inverter that we're talking about here, R1 and R2 are equal, but since we have them labeled already, let's analyze the general case where they may not be equal. Finally, the non-inverting input is directly grounded, so Vp equals 0. Here's our circuit analysis. First, we apply Ohm's law and solve for the current. Vo is Vn minus IR2, and Vin minus IR1 minus IR2 is also Vo or Vout. Thus we can solve for the current I, where again we've neglected any current flowing into the op-amp input or into Vout. Let's continue the algebra. We use our fundamental op-amp equation, set Vp equals 0 since it's grounded, so Vout is negative G Vn, which is Vin minus IR1. Now we plug in our equation for current, which I highlight in red here, and after rearranging and solving for Vout, we get this expression. Notice that it depends on the open loop gain G. But when G is huge, like 1,000,000 or so, and if we set R1 equal R2, we get Vout is approximately negative Vin. That's why we call this an inverter or an inverting buffer. Next, consider an inverting amplifier. The circuit here is identical to that of the inverter, and the purpose here is to invert and amplify the signal. And we don't force R1 to equal R2, but we've already done the algebra for the general case, and Vout is the equation we had previously. Again, simplifying for huge G, Vout is minus R2 over R1 times Vin. Notice that the gain is always negative, and there are 3 cases. If R2 equal R1, we have our simple inverter back. If R2 is greater than R1, the signal is both amplified and inverted. And if R2 is less than R1, the signal is actually attenuated. For example, the peak-to-peak voltage of an input sine wave would be inverted and also decrease its amplitude. In these kind of circuits, we define the gain as capital G, just like we did for filters in previous videos. G is V out over V in, which here is negative R2 over R1. Thus we write V out equal G times V in. And I note that the input impedance for this signal is not that of the op-amp, but rather of R1, since the current from V in flows through R1 and then to the output voltage. And this is why, by the way, when we use op-amp circuits, we typically use resistors that are about 10K to 100K ohms. This is so that we not only have high impedance, but the higher the resistor, the less power consumption. Finally, let's look at a non-inverting amplifier. The circuit is shown here, and the purpose is to amplify an input voltage without inverting. Here, input voltage goes directly into the non-inverting input. The inverting input is grounded through resistor R1. VO or V out feeds back through resistor R2 into the inverting input. This is the feedback loop. And this time the current goes the opposite way. Current is supplied by the output of the op-amp. Again, for a high impedance device like a voltmeter, negligible current flows here, so it must go up and around. And with extremely high impedance here, it has to go this way to ground. The circuit analysis is similar to that of the inverting amplifier, and I'll leave the algebra to the students. The final equation, simplified for large G, is again that V out is capital G times V in, but capital G is 1 plus R2 over R1. Note that it's not R2 over R1 as you might have expected. Here the gain is positive rather than negative, and because these resistors have to be positive, the gain is always greater than 1. But if R2 is very small compared to R1, G approaches 1. It becomes a buffer. For any other case, G is greater than 1. Here, as with the buffer, input impedance is that of the op-amp, since V in goes directly into VP. In summary, we analyze closed-loop op-amp circuits for buffering and amplifying, and either inverting or non-inverting. Non-inverting buffers and amplifiers do not change the sign of the input voltage, so the gain is positive. Inverting buffers and amplifiers change the sign of the input voltage, so G is negative. The non-inverting cases have much higher input impedances compared to the inverting ones because the impedance is that of the op-amp. However, inverting amplifiers also have some advantages related to signal-to-noise issues, which I plan to discuss in an upcoming video lesson. Before that, though, we'll analyze some more op-amp circuits, such as summers and active filters. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. 1, 2, 3. That's all there is to it.